Great defender, grant true wisdom from. All right, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. This is just going to be a quick little piece, and of course, you all can say something if you wish. Um, the most beautiful anthem ever written in the history of mankind. All right, so I see now there's a new outrage online. People talking about the returning residents in Jamaica having a bad mind problem, and that's why returning residents are being killed in Jamaica. No, that's not the case. And I think one of the reasons why we struggle as a nation and as a people, we don't know how to discern and understand it, where we need to channel our efforts. Because the truth is, let's just look at one thing. In 1962, when Jamaica gained independence, we were murdering people at 3.9 per every 100,000. Fast forward to 2018, and that shot up to about 70 per 100,000. How many returning residents are in those numbers? Last year alone, Jamaica killed 1,600 and I think 16, somewhere thereabout. Murders were committed, and those are the murders that were reported. There could have been more. Of that figure, how many of that were returning residents? So is it that we have a problem with bad mind, or we have a problem where we have a social crisis taking place in Jamaica? I think that is our problem. And if it is that we continue to focus our energies where we should be looking instead of creating a fix. The social systems in Jamaica is broken. The school system is broken. The church is broken. The police force is the most corrupt organization in the country. The government that is selected on the day to lead doesn't care. And the people who put them there don't challenge them to do their best. And that is where our problem is. Because let's look at one thing again. Where do we get our inspiration from on a day-to-day basis as a people? We talk about the entertainment industry and we are quick to blame the artists. I remember when Vybz Kartel and Mavado had their clash years ago, it was just a lyrical warfare. And the government and the people were quick to say it was these two that were creating this kind of social unrest in the country. And so they had to bring them together. Vybz Kartel has since been incarcerated. Mavado and Vybz Kartel no longer cross path where lyrical content is concerned, but crime still gets out of control. So what the political directorate of the country does is that they find an easy target and they go after it. And the people buy it. But yet still the said people, and let's just look at Massacre in particular. He's an artist who is known for violent lyrics. But when he does great piece of work, nobody looks at that. In one of his songs, I think entitled Stronger, he said that, and I want to quote him properly. He said, my future no write off. Life just ask me for sure me might. But nobody talks about that song. Nobody talks about the good work. Everybody talks about the song Hardball. And of course, we glorify the violent lyrics. What do we need to do? We need to get back and fix our school system. We need to fix the church. Because I saw this video circulating online with this young girl in maybe the principal's office ranting and raving and going on that she's going to kill somebody. And guess what we're going to do as a country? We're going to hit the eject button and we're going to throw her out into society. We're going to reject her. The school system that is there to educate and reform will reject that individual. And guess what? Years later, she's now a problem. In Jamaica right now, we are having young men being kicked out of school faster than the taxis on the road are slipping by. Where is the system that is to reform these kids? Be patient with them, understanding that we're only human and we make mistakes. But instead of reforming, we reject. Because the teachers in the system, I don't think that they no longer possess the will and the characteristic to shape the minds of our young people anymore. And of course, some will talk about money. Some will say it is because they are not being paid. And that's for another debate. We understand that. But we need to have people in the system who are going to develop the patience, the willingness, the character to understand that they are there to shape these young men and stop kicking them out of school. Because Jamaica has now become a place where we are producing criminals. So we look at the murders and we're not looking at why is it that our people are so seductive and so seduced by their worst instinct. Why is it that a young man can't reason something out, but instead he has to find a way violently to solve that problem? People come back to Jamaica, and it is not a case that people are bad mind, but people are just desperate. The country is producing desperate people. And that is why we are finding ourselves that we are not able to go back there and enjoy ourselves and enjoy the fruits of our labor. Because the people who are there are just waiting for somebody to prey upon. But not until the people in the country, the politicians, the police, the teachers, the social icons, so to speak, understand that the responsibilities fall at their feet. And us too as a people. In Japan, they have a population of what? 227 million people. Yet still, they murder less than 1 per 100,000, and we are killing 70. You think that is a bad mind issue? You think that is an issue where it's just returning residents are being targeted? Why is there this big outrage now because a few returning residents unfortunately got killed? This is not where we need to be focusing our efforts. It is beyond just a targeted few. It's the entire country. The entire population is under attack. What are we going to do about it? But I tell you what, we ourselves, what we diet as a people through the media is another problem. And I've worked in the media for a long time. And so let's just say that some guy in a community put on a peace match or a peace sports day to bring people together. You know, the media don't really cover that. That doesn't make the headlines. It barely struggles to get on the back page of a newspaper, on the television or the radio. But let those same guys who organize that football thing to bring people together, let them start a shootout. And that same community would be infested with the media to cover it. Because we yearn after negative things. And until we start understanding that, okay, we are the problem, it's not going to be fixed. Kingston is the 16th most murderous city in the world where there's not wars going on. Kingston. Is it that returning residents are the only ones being killed in Kingston? St. James is a murderous place. Is it that only returning residents are being killed in St. James? No. The country on a whole, we have a problem. And if it is that we don't understand that we need to start holding our political people, the people that we put in office, responsible for the situation that the country has found itself in, we're not gonna have a fix, because we spend more money in fortifying the police force and the JDF instead of investing that money into crime prevention. Why do we spend more money fortifying the police force? Is it that we're saying, okay, let's prepare them to fight crime? Why not invest a lot of that money into the prevention of crime? And until we're able to do that, then, okay, what we're going to be doing is building up the criminals to try and fight them in the future. It makes absolutely no sense. But people who are encouraging others not to go back to Jamaica, not to invest, I understand the lens through which you are viewing the situation. And not until we actually feel, then we might not know. However, Jamaica is not the worst place on earth. So why encourage people not to go back? Why not try and focus that energy into helping to reform the country? Because in terms of the last UN study shows that there are 6 Caribbean countries among the most where homicide is highest in the world. 6 Caribbean countries, including Jamaica. We came in at a healthy number 6 or 5, I think it was. Now,